Fausto Pugliese, president of CybertradingUniversity.
Most people always focus on the past, where as a professional day trader, we just focus on the future. You can do very well in trading, and you don't have to have a good amount of movement for the stock to go up.
All right, folks, I believe that we are good to go here this afternoon. Let me get us back up and running inside our live trading room at least first. There we are. Great to see Bell, Andrea, Frank, all of our students. We were just chatting with a moment ago inside our live trading room. Great to have all of us now joining us collectively on YouTube as well. Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works. Rich, actually just turn right over to Google to begin. We're going to begin this by at least previewing a couple of different companies that will be reporting their earnings here after the close here this afternoon. So, you know, myself and Fausto Pugliese, 35 plus year pro of the markets. We were on last week. You know, we did a whole hour-long stream last week going over some of the Mag 7s that were reporting, right? We had Tesla, we had Meta, we had Microsoft. Even from this past Monday, which we'll get to, we also had Palantir. But, you know, a couple of companies reporting after the close this afternoon. We got Google. So actually, just do me a quick favor, Rich, to begin. Just blow up that monthly chart. Make that chart like big all the way up top there. Yeah. So Google has like been such a healthy swing trade, as you could see. It's been breaking all-time highs, obviously. That's as good as you could ask for. But going into their earnings, right, we always like to anticipate the worst. What happens if? What happens if they have bad earnings? What happens if, honestly, if they have inline earnings, but the street wanted more, right? We've all been there. We've all been a part of that unexpected type of drop-off. So turn this into a daily, just really briefly, knowing how strong it is long term. We'll try and find more of a localized support. You know, I think a lot of our members joining us here, I just asked before, if you're on Insider Live Trading Room, I was asking, you know, hey, what stocks are you more interested in following here for this afternoon with us live? Google, AMD, Chipotle, those three we'll get to. But, you know, as far as earnings go, I know Palantir, they smashed their earnings just yesterday. You know, like a 25% move, breaking all-time highs. I'd like to think on this. This is just kind of like from the hip here, perhaps. But Palantir is a lot more volatile of a stock compared to Google. I feel like there's more people shorting it, more people trying to slander, attack it. I think Alex Carr, Palantir altogether, it's kind of like a Tesla. It's kind of like an Elon, where very polarizing. People like, people dislike. I'm sure people dislike Google, you know, maybe some data breach issues or whatever from the past, but I don't think it's as polarizing. So as far as seeing how big of a pop, how big of a drop may we get, I don't think it's going to live out to be the same expectations that you would have on PLTR. I don't think anyone was really expecting 25% move on Palantir yesterday. You know, a good earnings beat would be like 10%. A bad earnings beat would be down 10%. So to get 24, 25%, that's pretty crazy. So let's just work off like the basics, like 10% move. Right now, Google's trading at like 205.50. So let's just say a 10% haircut, right? What would that take you down to? What would that be? 184.95, basically 185 bucks. Now put a line there on the chart, Rich. I just want to show this. Because what's funny is that's actually where we have some damn strong support on this chart. If it's not right at 185, it's just maybe a hair above it. Yeah, it's just like a hair above it. You can see going back into December, going back into the beginning of this calendar year, that more so is, it was really holding around there, 185, 190. So let's just say, worst comes to worst, Google doesn't have a good earnings beat. They miss, or, you know, quite frankly, if they lower guidance or they weaken guidance report ahead, that could make a drop more than 10%. But I'm just saying, you have some good support. It's pretty much at that 190-ish, 187, you could even say in between there. Those down wicks, you know, on the daily chart. But since how strong that is, you know, I would look for that to be support if Google does report down. Now, if they, of course, report good, you know, we're going to see a strong pop. They're already at all-time highs. So where would we find a resistance? Well, let me ask our students like Belle, Margaret, Andrea, Frank inside our live trading room right now. They're joining us there. Where would you normally, for a more expensive stock, for a much more expensive stock that we don't really day trade here at CTU, this would be a long term like Google, but where would be more so likely find these big iceberg orders? I did say it about Palantir earlier today. Actually, Rich, if you want to segue over to PLTR. I mean, look at this, how much it had popped yesterday overnight from earnings. It's still up 23%. It's pretty historic. But when a stock gets this expensive, I'm not focused on the dollar price levels. Those are too small. Those are too tiny for a stock this expensive. It was already too tiny when PLTR was like 70, 80 bucks. But I would just focus on those $5 levels, $5 and $10 incremental levels. So at least going back to Google, you could say 205, you could say 210, you could say 215, 220. So what would be 10% up from here? 10% up. Basically, I'll say 206. We'll round up and say $206 right here times 10% increase. That would be at like 226 and change. I'll round down a little bit there and I'll say, okay, well, right near that price, right near 226, you got 225, right? And above that, I'd reckon you'd say 230, but I'd say 226, 225. That could potentially be a strong, significant level here on Google if they end up beating earnings. Now, I was going to say historical, but it's not really historical, is it? Stocks breaking all-time highs as we're talking. So, it looks good, smells good. It looks like PLTR. I don't think it's going to pop as big as PLTR unless if they announce something ahead that takes them to that next level. There's some crazy announcement that they have, maybe some partnership. Who knows? I'm just shooting from the hip there. But, Google definitely a big name to keep your eye on going into the close. So stay tuned. If you're on social media right now, if you're new to our streams at least, make sure to follow, subscribe right to @cybertradingu down below. And, we're going to try and do this at least throughout earnings season on the better days, some of the better companies reporting. I know Amazon's reporting on Thursday, mind you, but I don't know if we'll be live exactly there. I felt as if today was our best day. We had like 4 decent names out there. So Google definitely the largest. Now, jump over to the next one, though, Rich. Let's go over to AMD next. AMD is like one of my favorite companies. I have a long-standing history with AMD back from 2016. Actually, a week ago, as we were on this stream, the earnings reaction stream, I was going over my whole story there. I don't feel the need to repeat it anymore, especially for my own depression's sake. But it is just to say AMD ended up making this historic run from 2016 all the way up towards 2021. Zoom out there on that graph, though, Rich, and you'll see this hasn't been doing too good, though. Since the beginning of last year, since the beginning of 2024, where it peaked, it came back down pretty sharp, right? Yeah, you could just see there basically a steady trend down, lower highs, breaking local support, going lower there. Hopefully they report well. I like the company myself. Their CEO, Lisa Su, I'm a big fan of personally. So, I would love to root them on. I have no position in them myself, though. So as far as like what I'm swing trading, what I'm in, we always talk about that inside our live trading room. We'll go over it at least, in our stream in just a bit. I've been always mentioning it here on our YouTube channel, of course. Philip Morris, TKO. I'm down on ONDS. That's a swing trade I'm in on right now too. But IBIT, those are my 4. Now, with that said, though, at least AMD, just another little calculation. Let's say they have a good earnings beat, loose number, but like 10% gain, let's just say. And they're basically at 119 right now. That would take them up to like basically $130, $131. Where we have support right there. Go back, Rich, to the end of 2024. Just zoom in there. Zoom in. See that larger red candle before where it says December. Before where it says December. Yep, right there, that candle. What's that low? 133.65, that is. Just draw a line right there. Because recently, at least, on a more localized level, that was holding a support the subsequent weeks after. So right off that low, it was like a decent little support area. It was like 133 and change, right? Yeah. So, hey, what do we expect from John, from Frank, Kathleen, Bell, Alex, Scott, Daniel here just joining us, Steve, I see, Frank, Iqbal, a lot of our students just joining us. When a stock breaks below support and it tanks, what are we expecting that support level to flip into, right? We're expecting resistance, right? So look for that to potentially be resistance. That is a little bit more than 10% from where it's trading at right now. So I'm just shooting from the hip with these prices, tossing darts on the wall and hoping they land, essentially, because I don't know much about their current financials, operating cash flow, and all of that, but I'm basing it off just the loose approximation of like average earnings beat, 10% gain, average earnings miss, 10% drop. So, hey, zoom out there, Rich. Be respective to 10% down, right? So basically 119 times that. Draw a line at 107. that would be 10% lower from where it's currently trading at. So, that would just be kind of based off that number. All right, now we're going to go over a couple more earnings coming up here in just a bit, previewing at least the charts. We're going to see the live reports come out at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We'll get Fausto Pugliese, 35-plus year pro, on the stream in just a bit as well. But he's actually teaching class. He's actually teaching a class right now, and he's day trading, right? We're also day trading these stocks too, not just swing trading, and we're not just focused on the long term with these earnings and the conference calls, but this stock right now, BYON, he is trading with our students inside our advanced class, the phase 3 stock course. So we put this on our watch list for this afternoon, put a few different trades on there. And BYON was number one, actually. It was the first stock on there. It was the strongest and still doing pretty nice. Now, this actually had a gap to fill, Rich. So just real quick, see that gap, that red candle. Yep, you got it. Perfect. Go to 932. Put a line at 932. It's a gap fill, right? Classic gap fill. And you could even put that line there on the 1-minute chart afterwards, because as far as how we day trade a stock like this, you want to see a stock near the highs going into the end of the day, going into the afternoon like this. So, it was in good position already, but here's our level, right? That's our gap fill area. Zoom out once on the daily chart. Just want to show you something. Yeah. It was decent. Not flawless, not perfect, but pretty good. Around that 930-ish area. On a few different instances before that gap even, it ended up touching it, nipping it as support, bouncing a little bit intermittently. So it has strength already. Now, with that, though, on the 1-minute chart, that acts as resistance, right? So the first time it touched it, first time it broke over it even, it didn't run. It didn't fly right away. That was at 3:15 in the afternoon. Now, here we are now at 3:41. Program trading kicks in, right? This is textbook. This is as good as it gets. This is what we expect. This is what we think about going into the end of the day like this. So, hey, when it works out as according to plan, it makes it easy for us to hold, right? So I'm sure Fausto is killing it on this trade with our students right now in class. He'll be joining us right after the close, though. Both of us today, not just me, him too. Both of us motor mouths today. Got my glass of water here. Long day of class, long day of coaching in between. But with that said, at least join us inside our live trading room. If you're on YouTube, we're live every morning. We're live every afternoon as well. But, now at this point, we got resistance pretty much building here at 969, 970 right there. And how about this? Actually, Rich, we don't show this too often, at least live we do, but more so in our classes, in our coaching program. Fausto's showing it in the class he's teaching right now, obviously. But bring up Bookmap. Show Bookmap right now. Brighter maybe, but otherwise, no, we're good. Yeah, it's trying to move up higher, of course, but it recently broke over a couple of iceberg orders there. Looks like at 950, 960. It's not even as good liquidity out there on the offer otherwise. Not like there's some big sell order out there. Only about 5,000 shares a block. Scrunching that price axis a bit, so I see more prices up top. Yeah, look at that. At least that's something up top there. 1130, about 10,000 shares. That's double at least what we were just looking at. And that's been out there since how long, Rich? Zoom out on the chart now. Yeah, perfect. Since before 3 o'clock at 2:30. So we do our afternoon meeting live every day at 2:30 p.m. Eastern on or inside our live trading room. So join us there if you're on YouTube. But you know what? When I was looking at Bookmap here, I didn't even notice that. That popped up right when I started the meeting. So even once I had seen that, if I did at the time, it would take me a little bit for me to trust that order. The longer it's out there, the more respect you give it. So now at 3:30, 3:45 in the afternoon, it's been out there for, an hour plus. All right, it's gained my respect a lot now, right? But if there's like these tiny little short-lived orders, actually, Rich, see the one that's at the price like $10.20? It's out. See, it's out there for like a cup of coffee. It's that dark orange. Yeah, it's out there for like a little smoke break, a little cup of coffee. It's out there for. So you can't trust those things. The longer they're out there for, the more you can. Now, Fausto's going over that in class at least. So let's peel this thing back a bit, and let's go back to a couple other earnings plays at least before we finish up heading into the end of the day. So great to see Bill right now joining us on YouTube. Appreciate you, Bill. Always inside our live trading room. I appreciate you as always. Actually, even before we go back to earnings, looks like Chuck, one of our seasoned students here, calling out OKLO, saying that's pushing up right now. So let's take a look there first. This has been a very healthy swing trade. We've been talking about a bunch of different swing trades of late, whether I'm in them, Fausto's in them, or neither of us. There's only so much that you could focus on with our own human brains, especially mine. There's only so little that we could focus on, right? I'm certainly not the sharpest tool in this shed or the brightest bulb of this bunch, but much like myself, I'm sure you could relate. There's certain stocks that you can at least hold on to, but there's only so many you can at a time. So I'm not in on OKLO. It's been a hell of a swing trade since like basically December, since January. Otherwise, I'd say. Go over to HIMS, HIMS. That's on our watch list for this afternoon. That's as good of a swing trade as anything right now, as good as even Palantir. Well, I guess it needs to get to 100 for it to be that good. But point being, right, all-time highs breaking higher just from January into February now. So I don't have any skin in this game. I wish I did, but again, there's only so much that we can focus on at the same time. So just show actually really quick, Rich, a couple swing trades I'm in on right now before we get Fausto on at 4 p.m. Just going over a couple different updates on positions. So start off on TKO. A couple things on this. We mentioned this in Traders Talk a little bit. I went over just a small update. They had their big Royal Rumble, wrestling event just over this past weekend. It's actually a huge event. 70,000 people attended it one night. That's pretty crazy. I feel like that's like a Taylor Swift concert type of attendance. That's insane. So not only that, they have their big event going into the March season, which is like WrestleMania, March, April time. So something I'm still holding on to, just chugging away at this year. Higher lows, had a good recovery day yesterday. Not much really happened since, but they're reporting earnings going into the end of February. We got time on them. So they're already at all-time highs. I would love to see how they report their financials from this past quarter with this Royal Rumble event factored in. They're not just wrestling, they're also UFC. So one thing I'm focused on with this trade is actually the TV rights deal for the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting Championship. That will probably be coming up over the course of this year. I said TKO is a seasonal play going into like March, April time. I'm probably going to keep to my guns there or stick to my guns there and get out by then. But part of me would want to try and hold on longer, seeing what happens with that UFC TV rights deal, because I feel like that would definitely spike the stock up a lot. But I guess we'll take it step by step there. Go over to Philip Morris, though. Philip Morris, Zyn, the Zyn nicotine pouch, right? My decision to jump in on this was based off the FDA approval, but it doesn't get better with some, in-person marketing, right? You get just it shown on camera, on TV. I don't know, maybe at a Senate hearing. Maybe if you're Bobby Kennedy and you got it popping in your mouth there live on TV in a Senate hearing. So, that also is like the cherry on top for me. I was like, oh, okay, well, even more people are going to try and follow this trade now. It did pop up pretty nice yesterday. A little bit today, a little hair, a little lower high kicking in at least. Now, the thing with this, though, is that they're reporting earnings. Today's Tuesday. They're reporting earnings on Thursday, on the 6th, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be a little mindful of seeing what happens today into tomorrow. If it shows like a weaker chart here, maybe I'll be more inclined to sell half my position, maybe ride the half out and see what happens from there. But, it's a very healthy chart long-term wise. Look at the weekly or monthly chart there, Rich. Yeah, all-time highs, right? It's as good as we could ask for. All right, let's just go over back to some day trades at least. We got Kathleen, we got John, we got Lee, we got Leda, we got Iqbal, we got Mario, we got Randy here joining us. Let's go over a few different trades from our list. So let's go back to triple D, DDD. All right, it's doing good. Nice, slow and steady move, right? I mean, we can handle steady. I mean, slow is a little painful at times if you're expecting a larger reaction, a better move shortly after. This is steady. It's as good as you could ask for in terms of consistency here. Zoom in on or flip the monthly back to a daily. I appreciate you, Rich. Yeah, and now even zoom out a bit. All right, so it's approaching a little resistance back from the beginning of last year, and even before that from the end of 2023. it'll definitely take its time in order for it to make a better move up there. So it's up 25% today. This could be a good swing trade in due time here. Keep it in mind, it's got a liquid order book. Quick sec here. Just going to fix up our charts for right now. There we are. All right, let's go back to like Fubo. Go back to RCAT. RCAT, if you're not familiar with RCAT, this is a drone stock. You know, Fausto killed it on Archer Innovation. You know, that's where we were talking about the drone plays and, you know, obviously what happened back from the end of last year with all that crap going on in New Jersey and probably everywhere else in the country and the world. But, you know, just to say it went viral from Northeast area, New Jersey, and, you know, hey, all those drone stocks started moving then. We put RCAT on our watch list here for this afternoon because it was, you know, looking pretty healthy right near the highs. Liquid order book. We thought resistance would be at 10, but you know, broke over it. Actually slipped above 10. Good enough for right now. So there could be a better play ahead on this trade. And the more it closes over 10 bucks on the daily chart, that is over time. All right. Now, hey, really quick, just let me type this in here right now on chat. So certainly Bill knows the deal. Bill's already inside our live trading room normally. But if you're on YouTube, if you're on social media, Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, wherever you may be residing right now, at CyberTradingU, right over there on the corner left. And just make sure to hit the follow, subscribe button. We do these earnings streams, at least during the hotter days throughout earnings season. Run every morning at 9 o'clock Eastern time. 35 plus year pro Fausto Pugliese on every day there. Get the hot tag from him every now and then. But otherwise, yeah, join us each and every day. We'll get him on in just about 9 minutes. Fausto wrapping up a class coming up in just a bit. Both of us today been motor mouth. I probably got to refill up on water in just a little bit. Got my fancy water cooler actually right there. Not taking a piss break if you hear anything. I'm refilling up my water. But just to say at least, you know, we'll get him on at least at 4 o'clock and we'll react to some earnings live from there. A couple other trades, though, as far as earnings go, Rich. Go over to Chipotle, CMG. They most recently did a stock split, right? They most recently did a stock split. It was like last year, I think it was, maybe early last year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe in June, July, whenever. But making lower highs, also higher lows, I reckon. It's like filling in sideways from last year. So you know, hopefully they report good. I'll be cheering them on. Not really a big Chipotle consumer nowadays, realizing all the crap and shit that they put in fast food and you know, all those quick to eat products. So I moved on to bigger and better, but stock price is still doing good. You know, it's funny. I moved on from another unhealthy habit, actually. Got back on my natural coffee. Dipped away from the energy drinks. Go over to Celsius just really quick. Just you know, show the difference between a good chart and a bad chart. You know, Chipotle, whether you knock it or not, it's got a good chart still. It's got a healthy long-term graph still. At least it's higher lows. At least it's not lower lows. I've seen a couple people like try and like promote Celsius here as a good swing trade over time. And this was back in October. Look up tweets from people that have like 200,000 followers on X. I'm like, dude, you're such an idiot. Unless if you have some insider knowledge or insider trading, look at the trend. Even zoom out there, Rich, on the long term. Moved up from basically $5 all the way up to 90. What do you think was going to happen? So if anything, once it broke below support it had from 2024, built up at least good support there. Maybe it could have held it again, but it didn't. So as soon as it did that, game over. All right, PayPal breaking new lows. So PayPal, I believe, came off earnings, right? They did a buyback. They did a buyback too, which is kind of odd. So they lowered their outlook, but they also did a 15 billion buyback, which is pretty crazy. So they were a good short just based on the intraday graph, but this could be an even further drop. I saw support around $75, $76 maybe over time. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so real quick, folks, I'm going to just jump away like off camera for about 20 seconds. Trust me, I'm not taking a piss break, filling up some water here. Be right back at 4 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get the man himself, Fausto Pugliese, on. Little closing bell here. Earnings reaction to Google, to AMD, Snapchat, which we'll, I guess, get to in a moment. I reckon if we need to, if we utterly need to, we'll talk about Snapchat, Snap that is. But otherwise, those three first. Google, AMD, Chipotle. Give me a hot 30 seconds here. Eight seconds. How about that? Keep it quick. All right, there we are. See, I got my water with me. We're good to go. We got to keep the tongue untied, right? So with that said, at least let's go over, if we need to Snapchat. One of the first lessons Fausto taught me back in 2014 when I first joined company as an employee was don't put personal interest into a trade, right? Just because you like what they do, just because you're a fan of who they are, it doesn't mean like everyone else is, right? Think about it like politics, if I want to put it that way. Just because there's certain stocks that are one-sided, doesn't mean that you should or should not trade it, right? If the chart reflects it, yes. If there's good buyers out there, good orders out there, it makes it tradable, yeah. So, that's where we just say with Snapchat, I have long been a hater. I have been sipping the haterade on Snap for a long time now, just from consumerism, from my own usage of it, and from what I see online on social media from all these other companies. Like for instance, Meta, they've dipped into AI, they've dipped into deep learning altogether, promoting the AR, the virtual reality. They got the glasses, right? They're a huge competitor to anyone nowadays, and for multiple different avenues, multiple verticals, multiple markets. X, right? Even though they're private now, think about what Elon's done with X. Whether you like Elon, hate Elon, there's more users on X nowadays than ever. They've added a lot more for live streaming, a lot more for video playing within the platform. So made it more usable over time. The Spaces, Twitter Spaces is also pretty big there too. Now, either way, just to say, going to Snapchat, they cater towards a specific demographic, like an age demographic. I feel like they cater more towards the younger generation. So I grew out of it myself. When I was in college, in high school, I was using it, whatever. I grew out of it. Like I just stopped using it. I'm like, all right, there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram now. I was using that. Don't even get me started on TikTok. I'm like a grandpa now, social media stuff nowadays, because I'm not a TikTok guy. You're not going to see me do TikTok dances. Just to say though, Snapchat, I haven't felt like they've grown at all. I haven't heard any sort of significant progress about the company in years, since before 2020. I mean, I was a hater before the run up. So I wish I could say I shorted the crap out of it and bought puts or did this or that. I just avoided this thing, every time it made a halfway decent up move. If they report good earnings here after the close, maybe it could be a good day trade into tomorrow. It very well could be. I'll put personal interest aside, right? Because if anything, it is tradable in the sense of like spread and volume. But, if they report bad earnings, I definitely will be more prone to try and short it. All right, folks, we got 3 minutes until closing bell, until the market closes up. Fausto's wrapping up a live class right now with all of our gold, platinum, and diamond CTU students. But he'll be joining me in just a little bit here. So stay tuned if you're on social media. Once again, just follow us at cybertradingu. Be a friend, tell a friend. Look to press the like button, leave a little comment. It actually takes us a long way. I didn't know how long the way it actually takes us, but I guess that's how the algorithm really works. But like, follow, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. All right. Chuck saying OKLO on a run. There we go. We said it before from his call out. So, yeah, it's been really only continuing to push up. I would just assume $50 would be your next psychological level here, right? Oh, that water's good. All right. So, again, now really quick, if you're a student right now inside our trading room on the trading floor right now, if you're a member joining us live right now, I see Margaret, Leda, Chuck, got Frank joining us here, Paul, got Phil, got Mario, a bunch of us just joining us right now live. Right now, even if you want to do yourself a favor, jump in early. Click that link that we just posted inside our live trading room, inside the chat board. That'll take you to the YouTube stream because we're basically going to jump off the mic here. We're going to take the screen sharing off here, and we're going to just continue on YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, stay put. If you're inside the live trading room, basically in the next minute, just click the link. You'll be good to go. But we're going to be taking off the audio. We're going to be taking off the screen inside our live trading room and wrapping up there. All right. So, again, hey, stay tuned, at least if you're joining us on social media. If you are inside our live trading room, certainly you could always private chat me tomorrow morning. Any juicy details, any good questions that you got about trades, feel free to message me tomorrow during market hours. You could always email me. I post my email right there at the bottom, josh@ctutrading.com, just in the chat board down below. But with that said, folks, hey, if you're not joining us on stream on YouTube, have a great night. We'll catch back tomorrow, but stay tuned otherwise. We'll get Fausto on in just a little bit. And with that, we are YouTube only. We are YouTube only right now. I just dipped outside our live trading room. I left there myself right now. So really quick, there he is. Jeez, no rest for the wicked.
Don't worry about it. I got hit pretty quick.
No rest for the wicked. Give me a sec here. I gotta get my own audio set up for you here. Everything going, Fausto.
All right, so we're the bell had rang. Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. Well, first, how was class? I said that you must have been killing it before on that other trade, the BYOD, right?
Yeah, we did pretty well on that. The stock went up, and then we saw something really cool about it. We saw how I think news came out on Google.
Google. All right, so let's turn to that right away. I wanted to just check in. You had to.
Yeah, we had to bounce around. But what happened was, what was nice about that stock that we were trading in class, the BYON, it was really nice because you saw how orders got canceled. It was a nice level 1 stock. It just moved nice and quietly. The really good trade was actually the PayPal. That stock was a really nice short all day long. And even in, with bad earnings on it, it just worked out well.
Do you know they did a $15 billion buyback on that company too this morning? They announced that as well with the earnings.
Well, usually that's a good sign. That wouldn't be a bad sign. Watch the slingshot on Google. It looks like it's up. There it is. Earnings are out.
Oh, pop right away though. So as you were in class, I was gearing everyone up. I'm like, if it pulls back, I know Fausto loves that slingshot. So,
yep, there's a slingshot, and
now we're gonna post the numbers and like all the earnings stuff coming up as we see it pull up on our news feed. So definitely stay tuned for that if you're on YouTube right now. Google, AMD is a huge one. NASDAQ 100 stock. So we got to give that respect too. But Google's Mag 7. Like, everyone's on Google right now.
Yeah, it's going to probably do a big slingshot. It probably is going to go up and come right crashing down, which they usually do. I was very impressed, Josh, with some of the other stocks, though. We had I was just teaching in class a little bit like how to position yourself on earnings. If you're going to continue to jump in. I was talking about Reddit. Had great earnings back in November. It ran from like $80.
Here's your slingshot. I'm sorry. I want to make sure you're prepped up for this. Getting a sling right now. Now, no numbers came out yet from Benzinga. I'm sure they actually came out, but we'll post it in just a second as soon as we do.
Yeah, Benzinga is probably about 60 seconds or maybe or 30 minutes late, unless you have Bloomberg News, a news service, which is at $2,000 a month versus paying, $50 a month, whatever it may be. That's the difference. 30 seconds. So if you gave me a 30-second head start, I'll be ahead of you all guys all the time.
Here we go. We got it right here, Fausto. We got it right here.
Amen.
Yeah. Pop it up here right now for all of our members on YouTube joining us right now. So their earnings beat, their sales missed though, and there's probably more to it, but that's the early numbers.
AMD did not report yet. Looks like still hovering there. So we're looking at two different stocks at one time.
Yeah, turn over to AMD just for a second, Rich. I just want to see them.
Did you do good on the HIMS? I saw you guys trading HIMS, by the way.
What was that?
You guys were trading HIMS, I saw. You guys were doing pretty good on that.
Yeah, what a swing trade that's been, right?
Yeah, very nice trade. Very nice.
Like you said it earlier, right? There's only so much that we can like actually trade and jump into. Like you were saying with ATAI, one of the trades we were talking about before, like, oh, I wish I jumped in on HIMS. That's a really nice one. Go back to Google, Rich. I guess we'll head back to AMD in a moment. I guess they haven't given real numbers yet, but this thing, what the hell's going on here? There's no additional update yet that I got. I'm sure it's already out, but we'll get in just a bit. Revenue missed, the earnings beat. Maybe they did lower guidance.
188 is support levels.
Yes, we were talking about that too. As you're in class, I was going through the chart. Zoom in on that, Rich, just really quick, because we always like having it zoomed out, but this is easy for us now. Put that line again. It was at basically 180. Yeah, exactly. That Fausto said too. It's at 187, 188 right there.
Yeah, there's not a lot of orders out there, but I'm watching in after hours. There are big orders out there. They're small though. There's like 14,000, 6,000. It looks like they're getting hit. It's starting to getting a 5-layer cake between 175 and 190. The 180 just got hit.
Rich, actually pull up Bookmap right now too,
AMD
because
just had
this
earnings.
is
It came
as good
out.
a time as
It
any.
looks like they're good.
There we go. And zoom in there just so it shows like the darker. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to zoom in like after hours so you don't get messed up. AMD just popped for about $2 right now, $3. Another big run up right now on AMD. Earnings on them.
We'll get the numbers out on that in just a moment once I see them. Yeah, Google, like you had said, good support on the chart at 188, 187. Looks like there's somewhat of an order there to back up that 190. You might get the bounce right from that point.
Trying to find your resistance here on AMD. AMD, we got orders starting to fill up at 123 to 125. Not that much, about 15,000 and 32,000 at 125. Google looks like it's holding here, which has got close to that support level 188, right?
Yep. Now AMD, I mean, it's up 6%, so they had to have done something good, right? Because that's actually a decent pop. I was kind of saying in like the feed, like or on the stream faster, like 10% is kind of like the average, like loose number to kind of think about. If it's like good earnings plus 10%, bad earnings maybe minus 10%. Palantir was a freak. That was an animal just from yesterday.
No, yeah, that was awesome, man. I was freaking out. Did you watch my video I posted on that? That was
Oh
so
yeah,
much fun.
absolutely, definitely. And hey, if you're on YouTube right now, it's one of our most recently posted shorts, I believe it was. So definitely, you were showing all of our students and how they were doing. I know Ball killed it on that. I know John did pretty good on that. I know Margaret, I think, if I'm not mistaken, she did very nice on that as well. All right, so go back, Rich. Just peel this back a bit. Go back to AMD. Uh-oh. Getting a little
AMD's
dip here.
starting to
What's
back
going
off a
on?
little bit.
Is that a false alarm? A little pump fake?
Now, remember, everyone, what happens here is that there's going to be a phone call. Okay, there's a call on the earnings announcement. So what they report, and then the call, they have like a conference call that comes right after, and that usually causes some type of movement. Google, once again, big support level. Josh, as you called earlier, we were talking about that support level at 188, 190. Looks like it hit it, and it's starting to go up. So it's nice for a $2 move. Still don't trust it though. AMD is really getting.
Yeah, I was like, uh-oh, what happened there? So it's a pump fake. Yep, they may have reported bad earnings or something bad happening with that.
Yeah, there's a seller just showed up for 12,000 at 120. What was the other one? That other big one that was coming out with earnings?
Chipotle. They did recently that stock split last year. So I was thinking like, all right, maybe they're more tradable now based on price. Like they report good. And then the other one, I guess, I always like make a joke of it because I hate the company, right? Snapchat. Snap ended up reporting bad earnings too. Or no, they reported earnings. I don't want to say bad yet.
It's looks like they like it. I mean, I don't care. I'm not told it personal, but it looks like it's creeping up a little bit here.
Yeah, so far I got to get numbers out though. I haven't really seen like specific numbers out just yet. There had to have been out on AMD though with that last drop. Pull up Bookmap right now, Rich, for AMD. There's another earnings that came out on Enphase ENPH solar stock. That's a pretty name brand company, pretty big name company.
Mm-hmm.
Zoom in, Rich, just showing that at least from the after hours. Perfect. And scrunching that price axis there just so it's a little easy for us to see. All right, so we got resistance at 125. Looks like maybe a little support at 115. One of our attendees right now on YouTube, never stop the music. We play music live inside our trading room each and every morning. So we stop the music at 9 o'clock, at least there. But never stop the music. Joining us says AMD is not looking good. Definitely not looking good after that little head fake up and down.
It's trying to creep up. The big one, the big mover, which is the best one so far, which you called out once again, is the Google trade, bouncing right at that 190, which is that 188. You never get at the bottom. So right now you're talking about a nice little $3, $4 pop right there, which is a really nice move. 120. You got 207 down to 190. It's a $17 drop, ladies and gentlemen. That's not pocket change. So
there might be more of a pullback on Google though. Like maybe it could actually come back down towards exactly 188. This could be a decent move going even into tomorrow morning for like a dead cat bounce.
which one?
For Google.
Yeah. Well, it's still not done. I mean, there's still a lot of volatility that can kick in right now. We saw that happen with Meta the other day. We saw that happen with Microsoft. We saw that happen with IBM.
You are getting a good pop right now on Snapchat. It looks like they reported some good numbers. I have it here, just not the headline. The revenue increased 14% in the fourth quarter, year over year.
Oh, that's
daily
nice.
active users increased 9% year over year. That's actually a good number. It's actually pretty important.
But was that what they were expecting? I mean, it's
that number I don't know the expectation on, but from my hey, you're online, I'm online, we're on different apps. We see like who's partnering with who. I've been a firm proponent of like Snapchat hasn't grown as a company in a long time as far as like advancing in different like AI. They're not touching that. They're not partnering with things like Elon is with X. So I wasn't expecting this number. I'm like, 9% increase daily active users.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, it's moving up pretty nicely. First of all, the reason why you're saying that is like, do you know who uses Snapchat?
Well, so that's the thing though. Like I'm a consumer though. Like I used it all throughout my like young adulthood, and I grew off it. I realized that this is a very age specific app. Like it caters to the younger generation.
Yeah, my kids are in that. My 15-year-olds and college kids are on Snapchat, and they're like, I don't know, there's this whole thing around it. But yeah, it's a $13 stock. You know, you're talking Facebook. You know, Facebook was, I mean, like if you really think about it, it's a $700 stock. They killed it on Instagram. You know, if it wasn't buying Instagram, I mean, who really is on? I mean, how often could you talk about your kid just won, won an award, or making an announcement that my girlfriend, my child got engaged. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm at the video game. Look at me. I'm at the game. Everybody, hello. I mean, but they got into advertising, which, got to make money somehow.
Check this out. This is huge here. I got to give it some respect, I reckon, right? Operating cash flow was $413 million last year compared to $200+ million the year prior. So like they're cash heavy and more users. That's a good headline. Got to give it that.
That's not bad.
And it's a nice day trade. I was saying before he jumped on, I was saying like I don't like Snapchat. I was saying like one of the first things I learned in 2014 when I jumped on here with you, you taught me, I'm like, don't put personal interest into a trade. Whether you like the company or don't like the company, focus on what the charts tell you. Focus on what the orders tell you. So like I was saying, like I don't like Snapchat, blah blah blah. But like I was saying, listen, if it's a good pop, if they have good earnings, whatever, at the minimum, it's a good day trade. Focus on it tomorrow morning. It'll be on our list probably tomorrow.
By the way, anyone here watching on YouTube or any other channels, on the top left-hand corner, if you want to come join our trading room, right there it says, just take your phone, scan that little QR code right there in the left-hand corner, and we'll be able to come and join us. More than happy to come. We're here all day long, commentary. By the way, the Snapchat, I'm seeing a shitload of orders just start showing up here on the offer. 95,000.
Offer on the sell settle. That explains this drop. Look at this thing get pulled back now.
Somebody taking.
Support will probably build. Might take time to build support. Rich, turn over to Chipotle. Something popped here on Chipotle or came out. Not popped. Dropped. But this is another one. Their earnings beat, but their sales missed. And they have a decline in restaurant level operating margin. I guess that's the headline I'm getting.
That was a good slingshot right there. That was a good slingshot. That was the one right there to have the limit order out there, right around 50, 52-ish. Jumped up to 56.
Let me go back here. Yeah, it was 55, 56. Ooh, nice little bounce right there.
Yep. That was the slingshot we were looking for.
That was just back from like a few weeks ago, like middle of January.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is though, it's like, how do you play this out though? So like, obviously you trust the charts and you trust your levels. In the after hours here, we can't set stops.
No, you
So
can't.
yeah, so like what happens if like you catch the entry that you want, but like what if you see like, oh shit, it's like not good earnings, or like, oh, that's not a good headline. How would you play that?
Follow the orders. Follow the orders. I mean, if I see those big orders starting to show up, um, and obviously just limit your downside, what you're risking, what you have invested into it. That's my biggest
Like trade
concern.
small, you're saying.
Yeah, trade small.
That's where like stocks like AMD, I would be interested in. Like they do trade decent volume. Google definitely does. That's where that would have been a great bounce off that 188. It's making lower highs. Google. You might get a dip back down there for later on today. Now the thing is, you brought this up. We're not staying on until 5 o'clock. 5:30. We're jumping
No,
off here in about 15 minutes here, folks.
another
So
another 5 minutes, whatever. Just
yeah, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. Join us inside our live trading room, like Fausto said before, to continue this conversation with us. But you never know what they say in the after hours in the conference call, right? So they might they might put some good words into existence here. You might get the bounce back up sooner than later.
And then everybody, I see some of you already scanned the code. Just take your phone. If you want to come and join us tomorrow morning, we're here at 7:30 a.m. all the way to 4:30. If you want to come join our trading floor, just scan that QR code and be happy to come and join us. And and also with that, you'll be getting a class. I'm going to be doing a class this week on Thursday, actually. So it comes with it.
It's crazy that we're already like one full month into the calendar year. It's insane.
AMD just did a huge pop.
Whoa.
That
Jeez.
must have been the call that we were talking about.
There we go. Nice. Yeah, hell of a slingshot there. All right. So
That's the conference call that probably came in. Volume just kicked in at 4:15.
what's funny is like I think this is exactly when they reported the actual numbers. They finally reported real numbers here. I see came out exactly at 4:15.
Okay.
It's like this whole giant report. It's tough for me to like get a headline here, but obviously this is the report that we care about, seeing the reaction on the chart.
25.50 is a resistance.
Remember what we were saying earlier. If you just were joining us earlier, if you've been on this stream for the last 30 minutes, 40 minutes, hour, I was saying like, listen, a 10% move is not, hard to expect, good or bad. Like average, you kind of round it like to be like 10% move. This is right at 10%. It just kind of spiked up towards that 125 level and came back.
You notice the difference, Josh, from how Palantir traded yesterday versus AMD and Google? Palantir never did a slingshot. It just went straight up.
Oh, yeah, like on the long-term chart, you're saying.
Yeah, just like after hours, like yesterday. That's how you know, like, if you got something was strong, because everybody was asking me, do you hold the stock? I'm like, and if you watched the video yesterday, I'm like, you even mentioned it. You mentioned yourself, like, it could break 100, and that was a recording when I stopped, just kind of show it to you. You could see some of the text, you could see some of the chat in the trading floor that we run, that the traders are in. And sure enough, when I was done with the video, the number ended itself. It went to what, 107?
Yeah, it's crazy. I definitely didn't think it was going to go up that much. That's insane. 25% gain off earnings.
We never think where it's going to go, but the trend is your friend. You don't want to buck the trend. What made it key is like a lot of things we got to look at is got to make sure that we're not trading at the we're not trading these slingshots. You know what I mean? Because unless you get a really good price on it, AMD, I'm starting to see orders starting to show up on both sides right now between 123 and 125. Starting getting a 4-layer cake on the offer that we're seeing.
Also, you got Snapchat trying to go back up. So that seems to be a pretty healthy headline. Nice chart. And that's definitely one I'll focus on tomorrow morning as a day trade.
Mm-hmm. So
I hate to say it, I'll probably let my personal interest take over. I'm probably not going to swing trade Snapchat, but I'll day trade it though.
Yeah, it's just no, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all day trade for that's what we really do here at Cyber Trading University is day trade. If there's nothing else moving, why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Now there are some companies coming out throughout this week, like tomorrow and Thursday, just not as many good ones as we would say kind of here. I think tomorrow morning you got Uber reporting earnings tomorrow morning. If you got Bill, one of our students here in chat right now, Uber tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Also, I know you've been a fan of trading Disney. Like, I know you were riding on the way down a couple years ago.
Yeah.
They're reporting tomorrow morning.
Yeah, Disney really hasn't gone anywhere. It was a good buy around 85, and then they got out of the whole lawsuit over the summer with the DI and and all that stuff they were having the fighting with California with the governor of
What the hell is
California.
going on with AMD right now?
Well, we're getting a good pop on the CLIX. You see that one too?
Oh my God. It hit that resistance. Holy shit. That thing came right back down. We were just talking about those $5 levels. CPIX, take a look at that, Rich. Show that
Yeah,
one there.
CLIX is moving up pretty nicely in the after hours. This is something that we trade for some of you, not just earnings. I see some of you here scanning that little QR code in the top left-hand corner. This is more or less our forte. I know everybody likes to talk about the fabulous sevens and all the brand names that you're watching on TV, but if you really want to trade something that's less risk with high reward, this is what we look at. Stocks like CPIX. This thing just ran from 330 to now 280 to about $4. Percentage wise, 88% on the day. That's really what we kind of focus on. But we want to focus on the earnings because everybody wants to see how those stocks are going to trade. They will affect other ones. They do branch down.
Jim Cramer's been wrong enough too many times. We had to step in. We had to set up our own stream. We had to do our own spiel. He's been wrong too many times here at this point. We got to step in, help you out.
I'm not being rude, but I've met him a couple of times. He is one short guy. He's got to be like 5'2".
Jesus, I didn't know where you were going with that.
Yeah,
I heard he's a really nice guy. I hear he's a cool
crazy.
guy. Nice. He's a huge Eagles fan.
His picks suck. I mean, but he's just like, he had a company. I forgot the name of the one. He was public, went out of business and stuff like that. They just love him at CNBC. He's an entertainer. He's an entertainer. That's about it. He made it on Iron Man. You know what I mean? He had his show on there, but he's not damn, he must be on that show for about 20 years now. It's got to be.
Yeah.
They love him there.
No, he's good at what he does. And let's put, if you know, he's good at what he does. He's an entertainer.
He's an entertainer. He's
got a lot of energy still. And then you can't ask for anything more, right?
When I met him, I took a picture with him. I got it somewhere. I'll post it on my Instagram, my stories. But I'm like, I'm like, Kramer, I said, listen, I'm a day trader and stuff like that. You don't talk about day trading. He's like, you day trade? You're still in the business? You're still alive? Are you kidding me? I thought you guys were dead. They're like, no dead than you. I'm like, I'm like, it was so funny.
We had Skip here, actually one of our longtime students joining us here on YouTube saying, where is Joe Kernan, Fausto? Do you know who Joe Kernan is? I do not.
He's, isn't he with, I don't know. I haven't seen him. In a while. I'm
not good with names. I'm good with faces.
Yeah. No, Joe Kernan's been around. He's a friend of mine. I haven't seen him in a while. He's been off the, I think he's pretty much doing his own thing. He's in the Nigerian Brothers, same thing. I mean, they were on the CNBC and stuff like that. And I guess they didn't like them pitching their company. So they kind of left off.
Oh, check this out. This is kind of funny here. Rich, just show the Bitcoin chart. And there's pretty much, I can't send it to you right now, Rich. That's all right. Basically, back from January 27th, like a week ago, Kramer was quoted on his show saying, you should own Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a great thing to have in your portfolio. Now, I agree with that. Obviously, I 100% am deadlock bullish long term. But it's just funny, like right after he tweeted about that or made that quote on his show, that's when it hit that last little top and came back down. So you got everyone on Twitter right now freaking out about like Kramer, how inverse he is to like how the markets move. It's funny, there's the inverse Kramer tracker, Fausto. And then like you said, I think you're going to have him on your podcast actually soon, the Pelosi tracker, right?
Oh, yeah. He's going to be on in 2 weeks.
All right, let's go back just, Rich. We'll do a couple last cycles through these trades at least. We have also Amazon earnings out on Thursday, so probably post like a little shorter too as well throughout the remaining portions of this week. Amazon, I know Fausto, you like trading the Eli Lilly.
Yeah, that one's doing pretty well. You know what? Oh wow, Amazon's got crushed. That's interesting. They come out with
Is it because of Google?
I don't know. It's possible. Usually trickles down from there.
I mean, the markets are dropping a small amount, but like you said, not as much as Amazon just did.
Yeah, Bitcoin's going down too, Josh. IBIT.
Little bit, yeah. So a little weakness within the market right now, perhaps. But this is a little weird though. Maybe someone gave a downgrade on Amazon or lowered price target.
I mean, that's a pretty big drop. It dropped about $5. I mean, things on a really nice run. I mean, I own it. I own it all the way down to like 200 back in December. So, all right, traders. So we're going to go last minute. If you guys want to come and join us tomorrow, just take that phone, scan that QR code. We got the link up there also. Josh, if you could post up, Rich, could you post up the link up there for them? And if they want to just go click on it instead, if they don't have their phone with them. And we will be back here at 7:30 a.m. in the morning, trading the pre-market and going up and broadcast live again. We're live every morning here on all social networks, including YouTube, from 9 o'clock to 2:30. And or you can come and just join the trading floor with us, where we have our hundreds of traders out there all day long and see how we find stocks and how we'll trade them. So with that said, everybody, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. See you back in the morning. All right.
Absolutely. Take care, guys.